Hi and welcome back to CabKing. Today we're going to be covering troubleshooting for water flow issues with the CabKing, and today we are focused on our 8-inch CabKing. However, this is applicable for the 6-inch CabKing as well. And the first thing that I would typically suggest if you're having any kind of water flow issues would be to try to only have one or two valves open while you're working on the different wheels. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of just give you an idea, and you can try this out at home as well. If I turn this first wheel on, we've got a decent amount of drip. Second wheel, obviously I have the wheels not turning, otherwise the water would be dispersing throughout the wheel. I'm going to go ahead and turn this one on, and we've got a decent drip. The more I open, you're going to find that you can see now we only have a little drip instead of a flow. And now the last one here, same thing, very much drip. If we go ahead and close those up, the ones on the left will begin to have a faster flow, a faster drip. So that's one thing you can do to make sure that you've got a good flow going on your wheels. And the second thing that you would want to look at is the pump and making sure that you've got a good amount of pressure, a good amount of flow coming out of that. So we're going to go ahead and show you what that should look like. So here is the flow from the pump that would normally be going to the machine. And as you can see, there's pretty good spray. I'm trying to give you different angles. So if you're getting less than this, say something like this where it's more, flowing in a downward as opposed to when I release that crimp and you've got a pretty good stream there, then that might be a pump issue. Okay, so the next thing that I would check is if you are only having an issue on one wheel, or even if you're having issues with flow on multiple wheels, one of the next things that you can double check is your knob and making sure that it is tight on the valve so that it's catching. So there is a set screw on the knob, and I can tighten or loosen this. You don't want to over tighten it because that can strip it, but you do want to make sure it's nice and snug. That way you can go ahead and turn that on and off. If it's loose, and I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. If it's loose, see, it does come off, but even if it's a little bit loose, it's barely moving it. It's not going to turn my valve, and it's not going to provide any water. So that's one thing that you can check. Okay, so I've removed the knob from the valve. And from here, if you wanted to completely disassemble, you could remove the nut and the valve will come through off the back. So I'm going to actually show you the underside of a hood from our 6-inch CabKing and kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. And so you can actually take all of this apart to clean it. We do have, I've got a pipe cleaner, which is really good, and I'll show you how to use that in a minute to get into all of the openings. But you can take off all of these, clean them all out, remove all the valves, your Y splitters, and I'll show you real quick what you can do with a pipe cleaner is if you've got mineral buildup or algae buildup and you want to get into try and get that dislodged, so you can go ahead and just put that through there. And then I would also put it through that front section, so you've got your water going across here being delivered to all the wheels and then coming out here and going into that Y splitter. And with your Ys, you can also use the pipe cleaner. You can go ahead and try and get in through here. You can take off these little nozzles and try and get in there. Another thing that people have done that they've had good success with is using like an ultrasonic jewelry cleaner for these parts. We do have replacement parts if you find that either they're broken or they're just beyond your ability to get clean. We do have those, but really is worth the effort to, try and get these clean. Other folks have ran some vinegar through with some hot water on occasion to try and clear up any kind of buildup before it does harden and make it more difficult and have flow issues. So something else to keep in mind as you are taking it apart and getting it cleaned. It's great to do everything if you've got the time and the tenacity and you want to make sure everything is fresh and clean again. Go ahead and do everything. But if you are in a hurry and you just need to get that one wheel back and up and running, start with that one, especially like I said, if it's either the first valve on the left side or the first one on the right hand side. If that seems to be where you're having issues, start with those, put them back together, see how your flow is, and go from there. I hope you find these tips and tricks helpful, but if you continue to have any issues or you want any other kind of support, don't hesitate to give us a call.